Hi, this is Bea from Sorcery Soap, and it's peculiar times, that's for sure. So all the things that normally would go well or rather seamless seem to have had lots of hiccups in them. And one of the things being is the creation of a new book. So I have my 5th book, which is really shocking, and we still have some books in stock for the magic of soap dough. We have quite a few of those, and we have an enchanted book of peculiar ideas and soap potions still. The recipe books are sold out right now, so we're holding off on that for a bit because we kind of want everything to sort itself out. So to get to the point, because I could make this quite long, shocking. So more to the point, what I really wanted to share with you today is this. Ready? Look how thick it is. That. This is a new picture on the back. Jeff talked me into it. It looks kind of like me. It's a little prettier, but anyway, this is it. Look how thick it is. So I'm trying not to have to edit this too much, but I just want you to see. Yikes! Holy cats. So there is, this is my limit for this book was 200 pages. So once it goes over 200 pages, it's a whole new price category, and we didn't want to do that. I actually have so many images of unusual soaps that I could have filled, I might have been able to squeeze another 50 images into this book, but as it stands, let's see, there's very little text in here, very little text. Every page that I can fit an image on, so it's 195 pages, and every page that I can put images, that's it. So, question is, why would I make this book? Well, one of the reasons we made this book is because we want people to be interested in soap dough. And in order to do that, we can't just offer the books via our website. We need to get them on Amazon a bit. And I really don't want to let go of the books I have for Amazon just yet. But I also, there's other distributors that would be beneficial if we could get them to want to distribute soap dough books. So it's kind of tricky because we want more people interested in soap dough because it's such a cool new thing. So how do we share that with people? So what we're hoping is that those of you that know and love soap dough and you want to see like the best of the best soap images all in one place, this is the book. That's it. Then you can pursue more if you want to know more. High quality images. I went through, this is my 3rd proof. So what that means is, it's not as if I have a team, by the way. I am solely the designer of all of it. So I'm the designer of the soaps, I'm the layout designer, I'm the graphic arts designer, I'm every bit of text in here. Good, bad, or ugly, it's all me. So what I grew up with was an idea that sweat equity is valuable. And sweat equity is essentially the most valuable thing, because if you can't put something into, before I go off on that tangent, sweat equity is valuable. So if I can save myself money by doing it by myself, I generally get a better job. So I did hire an illustrator. I interviewed a bunch of them. I met this person, I met one in person, and I thought she was the one, and then it turns out that I didn't feel anything sort of magical or inspired by her, you know. So when I saw her drawings, I was really flat and let down. And what I learned from that is that lots of times people tell you what you want to hear. I mean, you'd think I'd know that, but anyway, they just tell you what you want to hear instead of telling you what their version of the world is, and then you get to figure out if you want that part of if you want that version in your life, you know, making the choice. And I think that while I'm on that subject, I mean, that's our responsibility, each individual responsibility. So, with that said, I was largely disappointed, and I've been looking for an illustrator because I have another book idea, and I want to get all this sorted, like this book and a bunch of other stuff kind of in place so that way I can go deep into this other book idea, because I'm so excited about it. I'm like, I can't believe I can keep drumming up this excitement about soap, which is very peculiar, but if I didn't. So here's another part of this that I wanted to tell you and wanted to share with you. So this last 60 days have been stressful for everybody in the world. Like, not kidding. Everybody in the world has had some stress. And well, except for the people that live off-grid. They probably don't even know about it. And I've been watching a lot of people that live off-grid. That's a little bit rough for me, but I can appreciate it. I can certainly appreciate it. But the people that do know and do read the news, or read real news, not pretend news, I can't even venture into that world. But anyway, to get a whiff of what's going on in the world, it's been stressful. And that stress, I always thought that I was like beyond it, that it didn't affect me. And it has, because it's just felt like a burden to sit down and create, and I forced myself. And I guess what I wanted to share about this is that some of my creations in the last 60 days have been sort of hesitant and hit and miss, and I failed quite a few times in the last 60 days because my heart wasn't in it, because I was just thinking I had to. And what I know about that is, a long time ago, when I was in sales, believe it or not, I was in sales, oh my God, stick a needle in my eye, that was painful. My sales manager told me I had to make cold calls. And cold calls, if you've ever done it, are absolutely the worst. People don't, they hang up on you, they call you names, everything. So I had this list of cold calls I had to make, and he said to me, you're going to get a sale on number 50. And I didn't understand what that meant, and he said, you have to make these 49 calls, no matter what happens, to all 49 calls, to get to number 50, because that's the way it works. That's the way the game is played. And you're going to make the sale on the 50th call. Just get through these 49 calls, no matter what happens. Just be pleasant and be nice and know that you're doing your job, and if they hang up on you, they're doing their job. And so I did. Along the way, which I found interesting, along the way, I actually found people that wanted to come in and talk to me. And because I, unlike other salespeople, were making those calls, it didn't take me to the 50th to get the sale. And I was number 2 in that shop that month, which is shocking. I was 20 or 21, one of the first female car salesmen. Yep. And so I just did what he said, and I was grinding it out. So with that said, that's kind of the way I thought about soap these last 60 days. I can't get to the good soaps until I make these failed soaps, until I make these soaps that I just don't care about. And, well, my garbage has been full of soap. And don't get mad at me for throwing it away. It's not because it's not pretty. Well, one time, one of us, won't mention any names, forgot to put coconut oil in the soap recipe. So as I'm pouring it, I pour it into the master batch bucket, and I look down and I called him over and I go, that doesn't look right. And he and I are still sorting it out. Now, he works with me on a regular basis now. We're still sorting out our relationship. So he comes over and I say, that doesn't look right. And he's like, oh yeah, it's totally right, real confident. And I'm like, there's a feeling. It doesn't look like there's enough oil in there. He's like, yeah, it's fine. And he does his overconfident thing where I know he's not totally sure, but he's trying to be confident because, there's that element of wanting to protect your spouse and all that kind of stuff. So, but my gut was telling me it was off. Now, here's the other thing. He's made, I don't know, 10% as much soap dough as I've made in my lifetime. So he comes along with his confidence and starts telling me what's up. And I'm like, yeah. So I go to pour it all because I did a master batch of it. And so when we do a master batch, we have 4 loaves of soap dough. That's the way it works, the shape that we want everything. We could be way more efficient, but there's 4 loaves of it. So, so I pour it, and the last one comes up short. And oh my God, that still makes me laugh. So I call him over, and I said to him, what do you suppose happened? Because, you know, he wants to tell me what's what. And he just he kind of turned a little pasty for a second, you know, like, oh God, I really screwed it up. And truth was, he did, you know, he screwed it up. So it didn't make soap. It made a lye heavy bar of soap. And then I told him, I said, stick it on your tongue just to see. And he, you know, he gives me that quizzical look, and I'm like, no, seriously, stick it on your tongue, just a little bit. And he wouldn't do it. Of course, I did it, and it's like a battery, like a really sharp battery. I was like, yeah, this is bad news. This is really bad news. And the other thing you can tell is, like, if you have a lye-heavy soap and you're really in question, take that freshly cut bar of soap, this is what I've done, and I've washed my hands with it, and it feels slimy. It's the weirdest thing. You'd think that it would dry your hands out, but it feels super slimy, and it's almost like I can't scrub that slimy feeling off my hands. So I know it's lye-heavy. Anyway, so that all went in the garbage. That was 8 pounds of soap. And then, oh, there's a couple other ones that were not near as funny, but this ended up in the trash. So I guess I had to get through all those soaps in order to get to some other good soaps. But last night I was making soap, and again, feeling the grind, feeling like I need to produce, and not feeling genuinely sincere about it in my heart. And that goes hand in hand with having your own thing, you know. And I made all these great little embeds, or not embeds, embellishments. You know, I made the little mouse potato and the danger noodle and all these things. And so I get them all sorted out, and it turns out the danger noodle's too long for the bar of soap, and this, that, and the other. And I dropped stuff in, and my colors didn't come out the way I wanted them to, and it was too fluid. And so when I poured it, it turned into, you know, soap makers know this, that if you pour it, it turns into a freaking mess. It's just like they all sort of blend together. They don't stay distinct, the colors. So each bar I did, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. I did 8 pounds of soap last night, and each batter, they're very different. So I used 12 different colors, you know, total, and each one had 3 colors in it. And I could have just mixed it all up to make it look like mud. So there's, like, you know, I might be on, I don't know, 25 of my 50 to get to the one that really is stellar. So with all that said, you know, people say, oh, how do you make all those great soaps? Which is awesome that people say that, and I'm not diminishing that. It's just that they don't know behind the scenes how much grief and stuff I go through in order to get that one stellar soap. And, you know, most of the time those soaps are like me screwing around. It's not even like the soap it's the sea turtles on The Magic of Soap Dough. I was just wondering, I didn't want to buy a mold. That was really the truth of it. And so I watched Zoe's Fancy Cakes and a bunch of other cake makers and how they're making turtles and little polymer clay people, and then I slept on it, and I woke up with the idea. I was like, I'm going to give it a try. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I could do this, and I could do that, and I pushed it all there, and I'm like, that looks like that. And I didn't really even use too much reference material. I just created it out of my mind for that one, and it turned out to be so cool that it's on the cover of my soap book. And I don't even think I have any of those soaps left. I think they all went to their new owners. I did save the octopus soap, though. That's one. That one took a lot of work, and that was really tricky because I thought for sure it'd all break apart before I got it to the top of the soap, and then I thought it'd break apart once I cut it, but it didn't. So now I can take more pictures of that. Anyway, with all that said, because, you know, you don't want to run on too long. that is why this book is so stupid magical to me, because it's got all these. I'm not even kidding. And I look at this and I go, this is only a portion of how many I've created. These are just the best of the best things I've ever created. And I'm like, when did I have all that time and all those patience to do all that stuff? When? When did I have all that? Look at this one, has a frog on it. Ask me how the frog got on there. Anyway, so in a lot of these soaps I've perfected and made better and made better. And so I'm really excited about this book. I'm really, really excited. So I know I say that about every book, but I am excited because I get about as excited on every book that I create as I get excited about a new soap I make. You know, I mean, the excitement is just always the best part of the situation. I think I'm more excited about just getting the proof in to make it, you know, that it looks really great. You see, I put the mouse potatoes right there. Anyway, I think I get excited about every book like I get excited about soaps, because I look for excitement. I look for reasons to be excited about life. Otherwise, it's just a drag. I mean, and it's easy for life to be a drag. Who wants that, you know? I think it's hard to find joy and excitement and magical possibilities. And, and it's not hard to find soap gremlins. They have knocked and burst their way into my door lately. I don't know about you guys, but there's tons of planets in retrograde. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. And I used to never really believe in that, not like believe in it, you know? And I started restudying astrology and thinking, there might be something much deeper to it than I assume, you know? It definitely gives me insight into human beings. You can ask a couple people I did readings for most recently. They said it was good, and I was like, wow, I really do need to bone up. So anyway, that leads me to another question. If you have any suggestions on really in-depth astrology books, maybe like, what I'm looking for is one dedicated to, like a book dedicated to houses, or a book dedicated to planets, or aspects, or any of those things, because I want to make a study of each part of that and move through it. And I have had libraries of books, I'm not kidding, on astrology, and I went through them all, and I went, yeah, it just didn't give me the insight, because some of the books that I had, and I know I'm going on, I know it, but some of the books I've had in the past, it's like a formula. They pick this piece and they match it together. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because astrology can be, yes, I know people are going to be upset at me for saying this, but can be a divination tool to have insight into that person if you're susceptible to, if you're gifted in that area. And just like tarot can be an insight, it's a tool. It's a third-dimensional tool that you use to gain insight into that person and share with them. Not about what I want, but what about what's going on with them, and just reflect it back to them. It's like a mirror, but you use those points in their astrology chart in order to share that with them and to find out more. Maybe things that uncover things they didn't even know about themselves. And those are, to me, the best astrologers, truly. So I would only do readings privately, or, friends for friends. But I really want to gain a better insight into it, and I think it'll help me gain more insight into my personal life. So it feels what I'm drawn to do. So that's my next phase, besides writing this next soap book. So I got a lot on my plate, and I'm starting to feel sort of like I'm coming out of the cave of despair, or whatever, the slump, and maybe, hopefully, the world will right itself again, and that we'll all behave nicely toward each other instead of this chaos that's happening. And under any circumstances, if it's coming from hate or anger, yeah, I'm not on board. I don't care what it is. I mean, I'm not kumbaya either. So I'm just not on board. I'd like peaceful neutrality. That would be cool for me. That would be really cool. I don't see plants attacking each other on a regular basis. Yeah, they have their little plant wars, but come on. We got to be smarter than plants. You think? Anyway, before I get into that, that's dangerous territory for YouTube. Woo! Craziness. They don't even like me anyway, because I have the word sorcery. I don't know why they don't, honestly. I don't even care. Oh, that leads me to another thing. Doesn't even matter. Don't care if I build this channel up anymore. So that's why I'm putting this up there, so that you can get a little window into who I am If you want to follow, that's cool. If not, I'm starting to back everything up on Bitchute and Library. Two very, very cool sources. And what I mean by cool is that they aren't censored, like at all. It's just a place to store stuff. And so it's a little tricky to find what you're looking for, but see, I find it ludicrous that people that are watching me right now have craziness advertised to you on YouTube that you would never in a million years click on. And people doing silly, silly things like what they did in some of the, just silly, I can't even talk about it, hurts my heart too much. It's just horrible things. And that's what's okay. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not. I haven't cussed one time on here. I haven't disparaged anybody. I haven't said anything negative. I'm talking about soap and the creative process. That's it. And that's the kind of stuff that isn't very shined upon. It's only if you're theatrical and act like a fool sometimes on YouTube that you get, oh, I can't even, I'm going to have to take this out because you know what's going to happen. And that's the scary part right there. And that's another reason why I haven't been creative in the last month or so, because I just felt so like I needed to be quiet because the world doesn't want to hear anything about my opinion about what's going on. And I understand that. I just have to watch and hopefully it all rights itself because it's terrifying. And that's the part that it's been so hard. So, anyway, so I'm backing everything up on Library and Bitchute. It's tedious and takes a long time and eats up a lot of time. So I do a little bit every week, or I'll do a couple every day or something, but I'm eventually going to do that, so there'll be more areas to find that. And I'm thinking about starting a way where you could submit design ideas that you want to see me make. And not because you want to see me make it necessarily, you don't want me to just create it, because you were stumped on it, or you want to see how I would do it, or work it out for you, and that's why this book, because that's how many things I've thought through. Like, I've figured them out, and it's what I do, mostly. Like, I think about how to do it and what steps would go first. And it's so much easier just to show you on video than it is to write about it. Even though I have written about it, I haven't written about very specific things. I have and I haven't. Not like how do you create a potato mouse, which I call potato mouse, which is a guinea pig. How do you create that? Like, I've shown that, but I haven't written about it because it's much more detailed. And I think that is a good avenue for video. So I'd like to help. That was pointed out to me on my path today, that's how I could help others. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I'd like to do that if you find that helpful. And I still kind of am shocked that people are that interested in soap or soap dough. And I use all this in order to try and figure out a way to help other people. And I know you don't want me to think for you. You just want help. So I'm doing the best I can to try and help. So anyway, tell me what you think about the book. If you're excited about it too. Maybe not so much, but I'm very excited about it. And the other reason I'm excited about it is because, I know this is really a long video. I had a lot to say apparently. Is because if we can get this attention on Amazon, there's a lot of criteria that Amazon wants me to do, by the way. So before I did any books, I sort of fleshed it out. I did a sort of general poll, and I asked people if they would be interested in this. First, I sold an ebook, and that sold pretty well. And then I said, "Would you like to see this in print?" And that was years. I was selling the ebooks a long time, and then I sort of asked people if they would be interested. First, what happened was people started asking me if they could have it in print, and I was like, and it was a whole world of education that I wasn't sure about. So I kind of put it off, and the ebooks are selling all right, but I got it in my mind that that's probably something I should do in order to offer. Personally, I like ebooks okay, but I have so many more print books. I love print books. So I looked into that, and then I started offering. But see, how I did it is I kept testing and testing to see, because it's a huge financial commitment. It's a time commitment for sure. That I don't have any argument about. The financial commitment scares the crap out of me. I don't want to be stuck with thousands of books, or well, hundreds, maybe 300, 400 at any given point. 300, 400 books in your house is a lot. So I don't want to be stuck with that, and it's a huge amount of financial commitment to that. So I am not only like, all my money is all bound up in these books. I didn't win the lotto, you know. So then that starts to make me nervous. But my point is that, so I fleshed all this out for myself. Now Amazon says, yeah, we don't know if anybody's interested in soap dough. We don't even know if anybody's interested in what you got going on. So if we're going to offer it, you're going to have to drive traffic to it. Oh, and if we don't think there's enough traffic, if we don't think there's enough interest, if we don't think enough people are going to leave comments or maybe pre-buy, then we're just not going to offer your book, no matter what. Great. I don't like that deal. But in order to have other stores offer it, that's kind of what I have to do. So yeah, I usually don't enter into deals that I don't think are smart, and this one, I'm hoping, I don't know, I'm hoping it doesn't cut my nose off to spite my face, but I am going to I'm going to offer quite a few of these at my own place too, but we're going to make it different. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. So there you go. Now you know what I know, almost. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's pretty much it. If you haven't, take a look at this. Cat in the Hat. I put a tutorial up on how to make cat in the hats. It was pretty fun. So leave a comment, like, follow, subscribe, do whatever floats your boat, and oh, and don't forget about Librarian Bitchute. Pretty cool. I'll put a link to my channels in the things down below in the description. So keep your head up. Okay.